Hey, Guru. We made it back to Pendleton this morning. Um, yeah, so the trip home was somewhat uneventful. I just posted the video from when we were leaving the house in Wales about an hour ago or something. Um, I'd intended to post it that evening in the hotel, but the ferry ended up being late. We ended up having to, they switched us from Irish ferries to Stena Line because the Irish ferry was going to be 4 hours late. And we ended up getting into Dublin about an hour and a half later than we'd kind of expected. Um, by the time we got to the hotel, it was 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I can't remember now. And we just ate a quick dinner and went to bed because we were exhausted. And had a nice leisurely morning. The following morning, I actually worked with Sarah. We did the voiceover for her next video on her YouTube channel. Finished that just at 11 o'clock when we had to check out of the hotel, and then headed to the airport where I did a bunch of final edits on the video and managed to get it rendered, which was nice to have that done before we got on the plane. In addition, Sarah, while we were in the airport, finished the first draft for public consumption of her next book, which, interestingly, she's calling Outlaw as a provisional title at the moment. It's in the Welsh Guard mysteries, and part of the premise is these sort of bandits who they have to deal with, and it's funny because I said, "Oh, you sure you want to call it Outlaw? That invokes the West." But then, she was looking for words to invoke that type of character, and that was the word that was used at that time. Actually, there's a direct quote from something written by King Edward about outlaws in Sherwood Forest. So, yeah, kind of cool that she has that direct quote at the beginning of the book. Anyway, I haven't read it yet. So she finished it, gave it to me to read, but once again, then it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been working on video stuff, and airplanes are not necessarily the best place to focus on something like that, and so I ended up watching movies on the flight home. We got back into Spokane. Brad picked us up. We went home, went to bed by it was 11 o'clock at night, so it was basically 23 hours from when we woke up in the morning to when we went to bed. I did doze a little on the plane flight, and then spent all day yesterday with Mom and Dad, which was really fun. They had a bunch of people come by to visit. They're doing really well. They're definitely less energy. Dad has this walker, which he's supposed to use all the time, and he was using it, but he's clearly getting to the point where he's annoyed with it. And he should be using it because if he trips and falls, he's on blood thinners, and that could be bad. But he's swinging the thing around. He picks it up and puts it on the porch and just moves it wherever he wants. So it's actually pretty funny watching him do it. Mom and I went through some pictures. Like I said, I think I don't know if I said this already, there were a lot of visitors came by. I don't know, there were 4 or 5 people came by and visited different groups, and they got a call from a good friend as well while I was there. But I really enjoyed spending the time with them. And then Sarah and I crashed at 8 o'clock. Just ran out of steam. Sarah woke up at 2:30 this morning and was like, "Let's go home." I was like, "Can we just lie in bed for a little bit?" And so she stayed in bed until 3 and then got up and went. And she drove to Dayton, and I actually lay in bed in the back for about an hour. And I think I dozed on and off. So I was in bed a good 8 hours, which is good. And so by 4 o'clock in the morning, I was up, and we pulled into Pendleton at 10 to 6. and what you see on the screen is what I did when we got here. So I'll let myself finish up. Well, that was particularly cold. That was not the most pleasant soak I've ever done, but yeah, the air temperature is about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, -1 degrees Celsius. I suspect the water temperature was, I don't know, 40. So maybe 5C. It was pretty cold. I think it was significantly colder than the Shin Paris that I was in a few days ago in Wales with Ben. But the truck's warm. I'll give it that. Anyway, we drove home from Pullman this morning. Sarah was awake at 2:30 in the morning. We went to bed at 8. I convinced her to stay in bed till 3. And then she drove at 3. I stayed in bed in the van while she drove. And we ended up arriving home at about 10 to 6 this morning. And it's interesting because it was right at freezing in Pullman, and then it warmed up the drive down. It was in the high 30s, close to 5 degrees C. And then we pulled into Pendleton, and the temperature just plummeted as we pulled in here. We clearly have an inversion. It's kind of cool. But that's my story. I'm sticking to it.